So today we start with geometry. We'll divide the topic of geometry into 5 topics. Okay, so first we'll start with a basic topic of understanding lines and angles. Then we'll move on to triangles, then quadrilateral and polygons, then circle, and then application of learning. Application of learning will include problem which is a mix of circle, quadrilateral, lines, angles, and triangles. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, which is on lines. So I draw first starting with two parallel lines. I draw two parallel lines, and what do? I draw a transverse line which is cutting these two parallel lines. Now I'm drawing certain angles right now. So I draw angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1 will always be equal to angle 2 if I draw a transverse line and between the two parallel lines. Also angle 3 will always be equal to angle 4. Okay, so 1 will be equal to 2, 3 will be equal to 4. Similarly, just like 1 and 2, 5 will be equal to 6. 5 will be equal to 6. And just like 3 and 4, 7 will be equal to 8. This will always happen when there are two parallel lines and I draw one transverse line. What are they called as? Why are they equal? They are being called as corresponding angles. Okay, something that we learned in schools. Pair of corresponding angles. So if two parallel lines are drawn, one transverse line is drawn, these angles will always be equal. Let's see some other angle. Let's draw a Z. You can remember, whenever we draw a Z, we get two angles now. Angle 2 will be equal to angle 7. You know the reason why this is happening? Pair of what? Alternate angles, right? Pair of alternate angles. Similarly, draw a reverse Z. Reverse Z. 3 will be equal to 6, right? 3. Angle 3 will be equal to angle 6. Again, what is a reason for that? That is pair of alternate angles. So for alternate angles, always remember to draw a Z or a reverse of Z. Okay, that will always give you your alternate angles. Any other angles? Angle 3 and angle 2. Sum of angle 3 and angle 2 will always be 180 degree. Okay, if you can remember interior angles. Similarly, angle 7 and angle 6. Angle 6 plus angle 7 will be equal to 180 degree. This is also pair of interior angle. Okay, so remember corresponding angles, alternate angles, and interior angles. How do you find them? Now let's apply whatever we have learned. Now there is a question. In the given figure, transversal P, so P which is in red, intersects two parallel line M and N. Okay, so M and N are parallel. What is given to me? Angle 4 is 110 degree. Okay, that is given to me. And angle 7 is 65 degree. Okay, so I'll write that as well. Question is M parallel to N? So answer that for me. Is M parallel to N? So let's start. Okay, where will I start from? I know what angle 5 will be equal to angle 7, right? Because they are vertically opposite. So after alternate, corresponding, and interior, learn this vertically opposite angle. So angle 5 will also be what? 65 degree, right? They are just opposite to the x. Now what do I know? Angle 4 plus angle 5 is the sum of what we just learned, interior angle. Their sum has to be 180 degree. If their sum is 180 degree, then I can say what? I'll go reverse. I'll go reverse and say M is parallel to N. But their sum is not 180. Their sum is what? 110 plus 65 is 175. That's it. Hence proved what? M is not parallel to N. Okay, because if they were parallel, the sum would have been 180 degree. Okay, and that is what we learned in interior angle. So now we are going reverse. Okay, we are not deriving the angle. From the angle, we are deriving what will be the quality of line. Okay, so in geometry, mostly we go reverse as well. Okay, so remember such kind of scenario. Now I put different scenario to the same question, which is saying what? Line M were parallel to line N. Okay, now he's saying M is parallel to N. Consider that. It's a new question. And angle 1 is equals to 85 degree. So I'll say, okay, what? Angle 3 will also be equal to 85 degree. Yes, vertically opposite. And I am being asked what is angle 6 and angle 7. So by vertically opposite, I know angle 3 is equal to 85. What is the relationship between 3 and 6? What is the relationship? They are interior angle. So angle 3 plus angle 6 has to be equal to what? 180 degree. Why? Because I said you M is parallel to N. So the sum has to be 180 degree. But I know angle 3 is nothing but 85 degrees. So 85 degrees plus angle 6 is equals to 180 degree, which means angle 6 is equals to 95 degrees. Okay, simple as that. Just applied vertically opposite and interior angles. Now I need angle 7. Angle 6 and angle 7 form something called as linear pair, right? They are just one line. Sum would be 180. because I know 5, 6, 7, 8 would be 360. So 6 plus 7 has to be what? 180 linear pair. But I know 6, it is 95. So angle 7 will be 180 minus 95 degrees. Okay, and what is 180 minus 95? That is nothing but 85 degrees. That's it. I get the answer to this. So vertically opposite interior angles and linear pair is something that I use to get the answer to this question. Let's see what can we study in triangles. First, we'll start studying what are congruent triangles. So I'll ask you a simple question. How do you explain it to a child that two triangles are congruent? Explain it in the simplest possible way, not by any tests. So let me draw two triangles for you. When do you say that this red triangle is congruent to this yellow triangle? When will you say that these two triangles are congruent? Okay, what is the easiest way? Pick up one triangle. Okay, just pick up one triangle and keep it on the other triangle. If they superimpose, do they superimpose? No. Okay, just check it. Does one triangle fits over the other? In this case, red over yellow? No. Which means they are not congruent. In congruence, you have SSS test, which means what? All the three sides are equal, which is not happening in this case. Which means the two triangles are not congruent. Okay, when will I say they will be congruent? So let's go with this yellow triangle. If I draw a replica of it, this will superimpose on this yellow triangle, which means these two yellow triangles are congruent to each other. Okay, similarly I can say with rest of the triangles as well. So let's take example of say this again, red triangle. I draw a replica of it and I can put this red triangle on the red triangle. So I'll say the two red triangles are congruent to each other. Okay, so simply, how do you say the two triangles are congruent? You can go by tests, which you can find it out, various congruency tests, and simply you can say two triangles are said to be congruent when all the three sides are of same length. Okay, or you can superimpose one triangle on the other, as simple as that. Heard of similarity and similar triangles? So what is the difference now between congruent triangles and similar triangles? How do you say two triangles are similar and two triangles are congruent? Take a triangle, look at it in a magnifying glass. It will increase its size. It will look big. Okay, that is when I'll say the two triangles will be similar. What is happening? The small triangle gets amplified. So what is the result of that? Ratio of their sides is same, because you are just seeing an amplified version of the same triangle. So if this is 1, this becomes 10. 1 into 10. This is 5, 5 into 10. This becomes 50. This is 3, 3 into 10. This becomes 30. Which means the ratio of their sides, the two triangles. If I say PQR is an amplified version of ABC, PQR and ABC, the ratio of their sides will be same. Okay, let's prove this for our better understanding. So PQ is what? 10. Okay, PQ, AB is amplified as PQ, right? AB is amplified as PQ. So what is PQ upon AB then? PQ upon AB is nothing but 10 upon 1. Okay, so the ratio is 10. Similarly, let's take QR. What is QR? 30. BC is amplified as QR. So what will I say now? QR upon BC. QR upon BC, the amplified upon non-amplified, which is nothing, 30 upon 3, which is again comes out to be 10. I'm proving that the ratio of their sides is coming to be same. Let's take PR. AC is amplified as PR. So what will I do here now? I'll write PR upon AC. PR upon AC is 50 upon 5. 50 upon 5. 50 upon 5, right? You can see this PR upon AC, which will again come out to be what? 10. So I proved that one small triangle gets amplified into big triangle. They are called as similar triangles. And what is happening when two triangles are similar? First thing you have to remember, whenever I prove, how will I prove? We'll see it in the next part. But whenever I say two triangles are similar, what will happen? The ratio of their sides, okay, the side which is amplified to the next side, the ratio of their sides will always be same. Not only that, if I take sum of the sides of a triangle, which means say PQ plus QR plus PR divided by AB plus BC plus AC, if I take the ratio of their sides, this will also be same. 50 plus 30 plus 10, 90. 5 plus 3 plus 1, 9. 90 divided by 9, 10 again. Okay, so this is also one result that you can remember. Now let's draw an in circle inside a triangle. What will happen if two triangles are similar? I draw an in circle. What is an in circle? A circle which is drawn inside the triangle touching the three sides of the triangle will be called as an in circle. A circle will always have a radius, so let's call this in radius as R1 of smaller triangle and R2 of your larger triangle, which is PQR. This is your in radius, the radius of the circle. So what will happen? R2 upon R1 will also be equal to the ratio of their sides. Okay, so remember that in radius will also be having a ratio. Similarly, I draw a circumcircle that is drawn outside the circle. This will also have its radius because it's a circle. Let R2 be the radius of bigger circle and let R1 be the radius of smaller circle. So R2 upon R1 will always be equal. Big R2 upon big R1. So remember the result when two triangles are similar, what will happen? Not only that, area of triangle PQR upon area of triangle ABC. If I go ahead and check this, area of triangle PQR upon area of triangle ABC, that will be equal to, take any one side, take PR or QR or PQ. I'm taking one side, PR upon AC. Okay, so PR square upon AC square. This is one result that will also be followed. You know what is PR now? Let's just take it. It's 50. 50 square is 2500. AC is 5. 5 square 25. 2500 divided by 25, 100. So remember that as well. Now we know what will happen when two triangles are similar, but how do you prove? Okay, how do you prove that two triangles are similar? You do it by certain tests. There are many tests. I'll give you just one AAA test, which means I'll prove all three angles of one triangle are equal to all three angles of another triangle. If I prove that, I'll prove that two triangles are similar. Then I can write everything which is there as a result for similar triangles. Okay, so remember the proof for that. Now let us just apply whatever we have learned till now. So I am being given two triangles. This is one APQ. If you can see, this is one smaller triangle which is in red here, and I am being given here ABC as a triangle. Okay, what is being asked to me now? Area of triangle APQ upon area of triangle ABC, the ratio is being asked. I'll try and prove similarity. So what will I start with? The two angles will be 90. Angle P will be equal to angle B, right? Angle P, and angle A will be equal in both APQ as well as ABC. Why? Because this is a common angle. I proved by AA test. I proved by AA test that the red triangle, which is APQ, is similar to the bigger triangle that is ABC. Okay, how did I prove that? Angle P is equal to angle B, correct? Because both are 90, and angle A is the same angle in both the triangles APQ and ABC. So that's a common angle. Obviously that has to be equal. Two angles are proved to be equal. Obviously the third angle will be equal, right? Because sum of the measure of a triangle is 180. The third angle has to be equal, which means I proved triangle APQ is similar to triangle ABC by AA test. Now everything that is a result of similarity will be followed here. Also I am being given here as AP is equals to 2 and PB is equals to 5, which I forgot to write at the start of the question. So AP is equals to 2 and PB is equals to 5. So how will I start? Now angle Q will be equal to angle C, right? So what is the side opposite to angle Q in triangle APQ? Okay, just follow this. Side opposite to angle Q is AP. So write that because angle Q is that. And angle C in the bigger triangle ABC, which is a side opposite to angle C, that is AB, right? AB. Just see the side opposite to the angles which are equal and write them now. So side square will be equal, right? So 2 square upon 7 square, 4 by 49. Because this is just the result that we obtain after similarity, right? I told you the ratio of their sides, the square will always be equal to their area. That's it. So we know the answer for this comes out to be 4 by 49. Now let's take one more problem to understand similarity even better. A perpendicular is dropped from the midpoint of one of the legs of a right angle triangle, okay, to the hypotenuse. So I have a right angle triangle. I drop a perpendicular from midpoint of one of the legs to the hypotenuse, okay, and it divides the hypotenuse into two segments of length 3 and 5. Find the lengths of the legs, okay. So first draw a right angle triangle, then I'll drop a perpendicular on the hypotenuse from the midpoint of one of the sides. So AB is one of the side. Let the midpoint be M. I drop a perpendicular which is shown by this red line. It divides the hypotenuse into two segments of length 3 and 5. So into two segments of length 3 and 5. What is the length of the leg? So let the length of one leg be C and let the length of another leg be A. All I'm supposed to find out right now is what is the measurement of A and C. Okay, length of the legs is supposed to find out. Now let's start. Let the perpendicular be dropped at a point P. Okay, so I know what angle P is equal to 90 degree. Now let's take this green triangle, which is triangle APC. Okay, triangle APM. Okay, triangle APM and a bigger triangle ABC. Why am I doing this? Because I can prove them to be similar. Angle P will be equal to angle P. Why? Both of them are 90 degree. Okay, P with a perpendicular and angle B, which is a right angle triangle. And angle A is common to both the triangle APM and ABC. So angle A is a common angle that has to be seen, which means I proved both the triangles are similar. Right? I know APM is similar to ABC. What is the side opposite to 90 degree in APM? 90 degrees AM. So AM and 90 degree opposite angle B is AC. So AM upon AC. I am writing the result of similarity now. Now what is the side opposite to common angle in smaller triangle opposite to a MP? Okay, and opposite to your, this is BC, right? Common angle in ABC. Just see angle which are equal opposite to that the side. Then the third triangle, angle M, opposite is AP in smaller triangle, it's a green triangle, and angle C opposite is AB. Okay, that's it. I write the result for similarity. I'll take only this two. Why? Because I don't know the length of MP. If I don't know the length of MP, if I don't know the length of BC, what will I do? Now I'll write as what AM is equals to what? AM. AM is half of AB and AB is nothing but C. So AM is half of C. Okay, because M is a midpoint. AC is given to me as 8. I'll write that. AP is nothing but 3 and AB is nothing but this C. Okay, I'll write AB as C. That's it. So half of C square is equals to 24. So C square is equals to what? 48. So C is equals to square root of 48. 16 into 3 is 48. So 4 will come out. C will come out to be nothing but 4 root 3. Okay, as simple as that. Now that's it. If I get C, I'll just apply Pythagoras theorem. Okay, now 8 square, which is 64, is equals to C square plus A square. Okay, just applying Pythagoras theorem in triangle ABC. So I know A square is equals to 16, A is equals to 4. And as simple as that, I applied similarity and I got the answer for my question. After studying similarity and congruency, let's come on to the new topic of studying types of triangles. Okay, so now let's see what are the various types of triangles that we can get in geometry. Starting with first 45, 45, 90. Two angles are 45 and one angle is 90. Hypotenuse, which is opposite to 90, is given to me as 20 and I am being asked what are the other two sides. So remember a table first for that. Sine cos 0, 30, 45, 60 and then 90. Sine 0 is 0, so cos 90 is 0 diagonally. Cos 0 is 1, sin 90 is 1. Sin 30 is half, cos 60 is half. Okay, it always goes diagonally. Similarly, sin 60 root 3 by 2, cos 30 root 3 by 2. And sin of 45 both are 1 by root 2. Okay, so a trick, just go diagonally to remember this table. And also remember in trigonometry, you know, sin theta is always opposite side upon hypotenuse side. Cos theta is always adjacent side upon hypotenuse side, and tan theta is sin theta upon cos theta, which is nothing but opposite upon adjacent. Okay, remember this trigonometric ratio. I'll tell you a shortcut for that, but for the time being, remember this. Now sin 45, what will be sin 45? This will be equal to opposite side. What is the opposite side? Let it be x, that I'm supposed to find out. Upon hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse? 20. But according to the table, what is sin 45? 1 by root 2. So 1 by root 2 is equals to x by 20. X is equals to what then? 20 by root 2. Again, that is one of the side of a triangle. Other side will also be equal to 20 upon root 2. Why? Because this is an isosceles triangle. Two angles are equal, so the two sides will be equal. In short, if the hypotenuse is given to be a, the other two sides are a by root 2 upon a by root 2. No need to use any of this. Just use the shortcut which is given in red. Hypotenuse a, the other two sides a by root 2. And if I have to get hypotenuse from the other two sides, multiply by root 2. Okay, just as simple as that. Divide by root 2 from hypotenuse to the other, and from the other side to the hypotenuse, multiply by root 2. Remember this trick. Now let's go to the application of 45, 45, 90. I am being given this figure. Radius of this is 10. I am being asked now what is the length AB. Now this is application of 45, 45, 90. Whatever we learn, we'll apply it in this problem. So where will I start from? I'll first start by drawing this line, okay, from the center, and I'll draw one more line from the center to this. This angle will be 90. This angle will be 90 of the radius and the tangent. Okay, why? This is something we have learned in school, and we'll study this in circle as well. Line from the center to the tangent is always perpendicular to the tangent. Okay, we'll study this in circle chapter. For the time being, just have an idea. If I draw a line from the center to the tangent, it will always be perpendicular to that tangent. So I know this angle is 90. Now there are two lines, angle between them is 90. Yes, and these two lines are equal. Why? Because this is a radius. The radius of the circle is 10. So two lines having equal length and the angle between them is 90. So it will form a square. And square has a property. Diagonal of a square bisect each other. If you don't know this, we'll study this in quadrilaterals. Okay, so just all the applications are applied here. So if I know this one angle is 90 and this is an angle bisector, it will bisect it in 45, 45. Now if I take this smaller triangle which is given in red, I know that the two angles here are 45 and one angle here is 90. Okay, that's why application of 45, 45, 90. I am being given here the side here is 10 because it's a square. I know that the side will be 10 because I proved this is a square. So what will happen? I am being given the other two sides. So what will be the hypotenuse? Multiply by root 2. In this red triangle, other two sides are given. Hypotenuse will be what? Multiplied by root 2. So my PO will be 10 root 2. So AP becomes 10 plus 10 root 2. Okay, as simple as that. Now let's see this green triangle, the bigger green triangle, which is ABP. One angle is 90 and the two other angles are what? 45, because I proved one of the angle as 45, one is 90, I know, given in the question. So this forms again green one, 45, 45, 90. I am being given hypotenuse which is AP, 10 plus 10 root 2. So what will be the other side? From the hypotenuse to the other side, what do? You divide by root 2. Okay, you divide by root 2. Obviously it will be lesser than hypotenuse. That's it. You got the answer. This is my answer to the question. Okay, so remember the tricks, you will get the answer in the quickest possible way. So after 45, 45, 90, let's move on to the next triangle, 30, 60, 90. In this, the side opposite to 90 is given to me as 20 and the side opposite to 30 is being asked. So sin 30, sin theta, opposite side x upon hypotenuse side 20. Sin 30 is half according to the table, x by 20. So x comes out to be 10. Okay, so I know if hypotenuse is 20, side opposite to 30 is half of that, which is 10. Now what is side opposite to 60? Sin 60 will be equal to what? Opposite side x upon hypotenuse side say 20. Sin 60 according to the table is root 3 by 2 is equals to x by 20. X is equals to what? 10 root 3. So I know what is the side opposite to 60 as well. What do I learn from this? If the hypotenuse is given to be a, then the side opposite to 30 will be a by 2, half of that. And the side opposite to 60 will be multiply the side opposite to 30 by root 3a by 2. Okay, that's how. Hypotenuse, side opposite to 30, side opposite to 60. Know this result. Don't remember by formula. Now let's see an application. Regular hexagon is given. What is a regular hexagon? We'll see it in polygons. All the sides are equal and all the angles are also equal. So side which is equal is given to be 5 and the angle is 120. Question is what is the length EC? Okay, so that is the question that is being asked to me. How will I start this? I'll start by drawing a perpendicular. I'll draw this perpendicular in white. Since it's a perpendicular, the angle will be 90. I know these two sides are equal. So in triangle EDC, what will happen? I know what? D is 120. Angle E plus angle C has to be 60. Sum of the measures of a triangle is 180. But angle E is equal to angle C. Why? Isosceles triangle this is 5, 5. So E and C will be equal to 30 and then it will be 30. So I make them 30. Now I see 2, 30, 60, 90 triangle. One in red and the other triangle in green. These two are 30, 60, 90. What do I know in this? First red triangle, what do I know? I know the hypotenuse, which is what? Hypotenuse is 5. So side opposite to 30 will be what? We just learned half of that. Right? Side opposite to with 30 will be half of that, 2.5. Side opposite to 60 will be just multiply the side opposite to 30 by root 3, 2.5 root 3. So that's it, EO. If I put an O, EO is equals to 2.5 root 3. I know that. Similarly, in your green 30, 60, 90, you know that side opposite to 30 is 2.5. So side opposite to 60 will be root 3 into side opposite by 30, 2.5 root 3. So what do I get? EC. EC is nothing but 2.5 root 3 plus 2.5 root 3, which is nothing but 5 root 3. Okay, so that is simple application of 30, 60, 90 triangle. So just remember, how do you remember this result? Side opposite to hypotenuse, 30 and then 60. After 30, 60, 90, let's move on to the next triangle, which is our right angle triangle. Okay, so the right angle triangle, angled 90 at B. Okay, so angle B is equals to 90 degree in ABC. BD is an altitude to AC. Now remember, what is an altitude? Altitude is just a perpendicular drawn onto the opposite side. Nothing else. It's just a plane perpendicular which is drawn onto the opposite side. It's not a perpendicular bisector. Okay, it's just a perpendicular. Then what will happen? AB square. AB square, which means one side square. AB square will be equal to what? AD. AD means a part of it and a complete AC. So AB square is equals to AD, just a part, and a full part which is AC. AD into AC. Okay. Similarly, what else will happen? BC square. BC means one more side. BC square will be equal to CD into AC. So BC square, one side square is equals to part of the hypotenuse, which is CD, and the full hypotenuse, which is AC. Okay. Then you will have BD square, which is altitude square, is equals to AD into CD. Okay, remember this three result. You will ask me, how did you derive this three result? By similarity. Okay, so no need for proof, just remember the result. Okay, these three results are very important because they will just give you the value and ask you the questions. Also remember, for right angle triangle, what are triplets? What are triplets? So if one of the side is 3, which is the smallest odd number, square 3 is 9. Divide 9 by 2, 4.5. Take a smaller integer 4, take a bigger integer 5. That's it. 3, 4, 5 will be the three sides of a triangle. No need to use Pythagoras theorem all the time. Use a triplet concept. Similarly, let's take one more smallest odd number, say 5. 5 square is 25. 25 divided by 2, 12.5. Lesser integer 12, greater integer 13. So 5, 12, 13 are your Pythagoras triplet. One more, odd integer. You always start with the smallest odd integer. 7 square, 49. 49 divided by 2, 24.5. 24 and 25. Okay, this largest side 5, 13, 25 will always obviously be your hypotenuse. See, the first 3, 4, 5, if I multiplied by 2, it becomes 6, 8, 10. The same triplets you will get it many times. So don't use Pythagoras theorem all the time. Go for the logic of triplets. Start with the smallest odd number, square, divided by 2, lesser integer and a smaller integer. You can multiply the same by 2 and 3 and get multiple triplets as you like. Let's take one more concept, circumcircle. As we know, drawn outside, touching the three vertices. Now something that is in white is very important. This is called as median, and you will see a lot of median when we enter into equilateral at the end. This is a median. What is a median? The median just bisects, that's it. It just bisects the opposite side. What is an altitude? Perpendicular, only a plane perpendicular to the opposite side. Whereas the median bisects, which means it will divide the opposite side into two equal parts. Okay, that is what is your median. So a median is drawn, that will always be your circumradius. So if a circumcircle is drawn, that will be a circumradius, and that circumradius will always be equal to the two parts that are being divided. So R is equals to AO is equals to CO. Okay, that is one result that you have to remember it here if you draw a median in a right angle triangle. Circumradius is nothing but median to the hypotenuse, yes, which is BO, the white line, and that will be also equal to what? Half of the hypotenuse. Okay, hypotenuse is AC. What is half of AC? That is nothing but AO. Okay, that is the result that you have to remember. In circle, if I draw a circle that is inside the triangle, touching the three sides, that will be my in circle. What will be the in radius then in this case? In radius for a right angle triangle, let one side be A, other side be B, and one more side be C. Then what will you have it here? Circumradius is B plus A, that is non-hypotenuse sides. Okay, wrongly I had written the hypotenuse to be A, correct it. It's B plus A, non-hypotenuse side, minus C. C is the hypotenuse divided by 2. Okay, B plus A, non-hypotenuse, C, hypotenuse divided by 2. So now we know what are the results that we can get with a right angle triangle. Let's apply everything we have learned. Now triangle ABC is given to me as a right angle triangle, angle at A. So I know angle A is equals to 90 degree. Then what? AD is altitude. If it's an altitude, it's just a perpendicular. I know that. AD is an altitude to BC. Now remember the properties of altitude that we have seen. AB is given to be 8, AC is given to be 15. I know that. BC, find out BC. So if two sides are given, I know how to find out the third side, Pythagoras theorem, and the altitude AD. Okay, so how will I start with this? First I'll start by finding BC, because I know one side is 8, other side is 15. I am being asked the hypotenuse because the angle A is equals to 90 degrees. So BC square is equals to AB square plus AC square. 8 square plus 15 square is nothing but 64 plus 225. If I add both of them, 289. BC is equals to square root of 289, which is nothing but 17. 17 square is 289. So I know the first part of the question is very clear. Even without knowing any properties, I know BC is equals to 17. Now he is asking me what is altitude AD. So how will I go ahead and find this? Area of triangle ABC is nothing but half into base into height, right? Base is 8 and the height is what? 15. If you can see, angle A is 90, right? So half into 8 into 15. That is area of triangle ABC. But I can also write that half into base. I can take BC as a base. And AD is nothing but a perpendicular, and in geometry perpendicular is always your height. Whenever I ask you for an height will always be perpendicular. Okay, so half into BC into AD. So the area could be written in two format, one in the left, one in the right. BC is nothing but 17, which I had already found out, right? I know BC is 17, that's it. Now I can find out what is AD. So AD is equals to what then? AD is left at 8 into 15 divided by 17. Okay, now what is 8 into 15, which is 120 divided by 17. So I know the next part of the question as well now. That is AD is equal to 120 by 17. Now let's see the next part. If M is a midpoint of BC, find AM. If M is a midpoint, what is this white then in? What do we draw in white? Then median, right? I'm saying M is a midpoint here, and median always bisects. What do we learn from this? The circumradius is always the median and it bisects the hypotenuse. Okay, and half of the hypotenuse is nothing but your what? Half of the hypotenuse is circumradius, which is nothing but median, right? We learned already this concept. Let's apply this here. I know what is the hypotenuse here. What is the hypotenuse? BC, right? I know BC is the hypotenuse. BC is the hypotenuse as AM. AM is nothing but the median error. AM will be equal to half of BC. We have learned this, right? AM will be equal to MC will be equal to MB. Okay, and all of them will be equal. So AM is equal to nothing but half of hypotenuse BC. We already know this. So AM is half of what? 17. So half of 17 is nothing but 8.5. So just applying the property of circumradius. Okay, median will be equal to half of hypotenuse. That's how I apply the property of right angle triangle. So after studying the type of triangle, let's move on to study certain theorems of triangles. First we start with BPT, basic proportionality theorem. Now line DE is parallel to line BC in triangle ABC. Then what can you say? Then you can say that AD upon DB will be equal to AE upon EC. Okay, that is your basic proportionality theorem. How do you get the proof? By similarity. Proof is not required, but the result is. So remember BPT. Next, interior angle bisector theorem. As the name says, it's an angle bisector. Something that you see in a red is an angle bisector. We have studied median, we have studied altitude. Now the new is angle bisector. It just bisects the angle. So if the angle is 60, 30 will be bisected. Then you have AB, which is one side, upon BC. AB upon BC will be equal to AE. AE, which is the side on which the angle bisector is coming, is divided. AE and then EC. So angle bisector of any angle of a triangle divides the side opposite to the angle. The side opposite to the angle is divided in the ratio of remaining two sides. So remaining two sides are AB upon BC, and the side opposite to the angle bisector AE upon EC. Okay, AC is divided by A and C. Let's go on to the next theorem, which is midpoint theorem. So midpoint theorem is just like your basic proportionality theorem, but in this case D is a midpoint of AB and E is a midpoint of AC. D is just parallel to BC, just like in BPT. But in this case, D and E are midpoints of the two sides of the triangle ABC. Then what do you say? DE, which is parallel to BC, is half of BC. So if BC is 10, D has to be 5. Okay, proof again by similarity. Let's go to the last, exterior angle bisector theorem. Now what is this? Triangle ABC, exterior angle, if you can see in this case, is angle DBC. The angle bisector, what is it stating? The angle bisector of an exterior angle DBC, angle bisector which is drawn in the white. the angle bisector of any exterior angle of a triangle is ABC, divides the side opposite to the angle, so which is my exterior angle? DBC. What is the side opposite to it? Check it. What is the side opposite to it? AE. Okay, it will divide AE externally in the ratio of remaining two sides. So what are the remaining two sides apart from AC? It's AB and BC, right? In the ratio of remaining two sides. So write first remaining two sides, AB upon BC, right? That will be equal to what? The side opposite to the angle bisector, AE upon CE. So A is divided in the ratio of AE upon CE. So remember this exterior angle bisector theorem as well. Similar to your interior angle bisector, the side opposite to the angle is being bisected. And the last of which we'll see is Apollonius principle, or also called as Apollonius theorem. When will you remember this? When there is a median. Okay, what is a median? Median divides the opposite side into two equal parts. It bisects the opposite side, right? So if there is a median in triangle ABC, then what can we say? Sum of squares of any two sides of a triangle. Okay, so two sides I'll take AB and one side I'll take AC. So two sides of a triangle is equal to what? Is equal to twice the sum of squares of median. Okay, sum of square of median. What is median in this triangle? AD. So is equal to twice the sum of square of median, and then what? To the third side, and the median to the third side, and the square of half of the third side, right? This is equal to sum of what? Median square plus square of half of third side, which is my third side BC. What is half of that? BD or DC, right? Because the median has bisected, BD is equal to CD. So write any one of them. I'm writing here DC or CD. Okay, that's it. That is your Apollonius principle. Okay, now let's apply this. I'm being given here a figure in which I've been said AB is parallel to CD. Okay, AB is parallel to CD, and BC is parallel to AD. BC is parallel to AD, and BC is given to me as 16. So AD will also be equal to 16. Now this is forming what for me? A parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel and equal in parallelogram as a figure. Now you will study this in quadrilateral. We will start in the next part. In parallelogram, the diagonals always bisect each other. Okay, remember that. We'll study this in quadrilaterals. In parallelogram, diagonals always bisect. So I am being given here, what is AC? 20. So it will bisect into 10 and then 10. Okay, so now for this, I know this is how the figure looks like. I am being asked what is BD. So even if I know what is BO or DO, I'll do twice of that, and that will be my BD. Now let's just consider this triangle, the one which is being made in red. This is the triangle. Yes, triangle what? DBC, in which CO is a median because it is bisecting. Okay, CO is bisecting your DB. So CO is acting as a median right now. If there is a median, I can apply Apollonius principle. What? One side square, 18 square. Second side square, 16 square is equals to twice of median square. What is median? 10. 10 square plus 1 half of the opposite side. Half of the opposite side is nothing but BO. Okay, so BO square. That's it. 324 plus 256 is equals to 2 into 100 plus BO square. Now I'll just solve this. Just add 256 plus 324 is equal to 580 is equals to 2 into 100 plus BO square. So 580 divided by 2 is nothing but 290 is equal to 100 plus BO square. So BO square is equals to 190. BO will be equal to square root of 190. So I got one part which is BO, but BO is equal to DO because diagonal bisect. So that will be also equal to square root of 190. DB, which is being asked, is 2 into square root of 190. That is how to apply Apollonius principle. Okay, so remember all the theorems. So after theorems, we move on to a new concept of area of triangle. Let's see how many formulas are there to find out area of a triangle. First basic formula is, we all know this is one triangle ABC which is given to us. So the formula is half into base into height. What will be the height of this triangle? Height always in geometry is the perpendicular. Okay, and that will be AD. So half into BC into AD, half into base into height. Okay, and height is always your perpendicular. First formula for area of triangle. What is the next formula? Say between the side BC and AC, the angle is theta. So the formula is half into AC into BC into sine of theta. So half into product of two sides into the sine of the angle between the two sides. Okay, let's understand this by this. Say there is a right angle triangle between the side AB and BC, the angle is 90. So how will you write? Half into BC into AB into sine of 90, right? The angle between the two sides, half into product of two sides into sine of angle between the two sides. But sine 90 is 1, so you get the formula as half into BC into AB. Okay, that's what you do, half into base into height. So it's a one and the same thing. If the angle keeps on changing, so will be the formula. Now if the altitude or the height is not given to you, only the three sides are given as A, B, C. If you don't know what is the height, then how will you find the area? You'll find the area by a formula S into square root of S into S minus A, S minus B into S minus C. Okay, where S is nothing but the semi-perimeter. Okay, what is the perimeter? Add all the three sides. A plus B plus C is the perimeter. Semi-perimeter is a half of that. So A plus B plus C divided by 2. So once you know S, yes. Once you know A, which is given to you, B and C, you can find the area of the triangle. So if height is not given to you, use this formula to find out the area of triangle. Now let's say in circle. What is an in circle? Inside the triangle, okay, touching the three sides. If in circle is given to, how will you find area by in circle? Area of a triangle is R into S. Okay, where S is nothing but again the semi-perimeter. Okay, so if you know the three sides, if you know the in radius of a triangle, then again you can find the area of a triangle. Okay, so know this formula. Then a circumcircle touching the outer three vertices, it will have a circumradius which is nothing but capital R. So the area of a triangle is given as A into B into C upon 4R. Okay, where R is nothing but your circumradius. So remember this phi formula for area of triangle. Depending upon the situation, you will have to use one or two or three formulas in one problem. Okay, but remember all of them, the situations for them are different. Let's apply application of area of triangle. So I am being given here a regular hexagon. We have studied what is a regular hexagon. We'll study this in quadrilateral as well. Quadrilateral and polygons, all the sides are equal, all the angles are equal. So angle is 120, side is 2. Inside that I draw a circle which is an in circle. The question here is, what is the in radius of this circle? So if I draw a circle like this, what is the in radius? So we had done this earlier. Just draw a perpendicular from here. If I draw a perpendicular from here, I know this angle is 90. But I know what? If I make a triangle out of it, ABC, AB is equals to AC. Why? Because both the sides are same. So angle B has to be equal to angle C. But angle B plus angle C is 60. So angle B is 30 and angle C is 30 because that was 120. So this forms a 30, 60, 90. Okay, I know the hypotenuse, side opposite to 30, half of that, that is 1. Okay, and side opposite to 60 will be what? 60 will be, just multiply this by root 3. Okay, I think it's, yes, this, just multiply this by this. Yeah, so it will be so it's wrongly written here. It has to be what now? If you can correct, if it has to be what here? Root 3, right? What will it be? It will be root 3. Why? Because you know the side opposite to 60 will be multiplied this by root 3. So I know BC is equals to root 3. Now what is the area of a triangle? Half into base into height. So I'll write this as what? Half into BC. BC is what? Root 3 plus root 3 is 2 root 3. Okay, into AD which is height is equals to 1. So 2 gets cancelled. I get my answer as what? Root 3. This is what? Area of triangle ABC. Now what else can I do with this? Is there any other formula by which I can get the in radius? Yes, I have a formula. Area of triangle ABC. Area of triangle ABC is equals to what? R into S. Okay, we just studied earlier. So I can write this as what? I can write this as R into S is equals to what? Square root of 3. What do I know from this? I know S. How do I know S? Because I know three sides. I know three sides, right? One is 2, okay, other is 2, and one is what? 2 root 3. So if I know three sides, I will be knowing S. From that I can find out what is R. So let's go for this. So I'll write this as R into S. S will be equal to what? Sum 2 plus 2, 4. 4 plus 2 root 3 divided by 2. That will be my S. That is equals to what? Root 3. Now take the 2 out. What will be remaining then? 2 plus root 3. 2 plus root 3 into R is equals to what? Root 3. So R is equals to what? root 3 upon 2 plus root 3. That's it. And that is the final answer to your question. Okay, I hope you got the logic of this, because area of triangle has various formula. You just need to think which formula should be used when, and that is the most important trick in such kind of questions. Let's see few other sums on application of area of triangle. So now I get this triangle, two triangles are here. You can see ABP and there is DBP. Okay, and what is given to me? The ratio BP is to PC, BP is to PC is 2:3. I don't know the exact value, I know the ratio of it, and AP is to PD is equals to 3:5. Okay, I again don't know the exact value of it, I just know the ratio AP is to PD is equals to 3:5. Area of triangle ABP upon DPC is being asked. First thing that I'll notice here is angle BPA will be equal to angle DPC. How do I know that? Vertically opposite angle. Any two cross, just make an X, opposite angles will always be equal. Just make an X, opposite angles will be equal because they will be vertically opposite angle. Okay, so first thing that I know about it is this. Now what is being asked to me? Area of triangle ABP. What is area of triangle ABP? So which formula will I use? The only formula that is left is half into product of two sides, which is PB into PA into the sine of the angle between the two sides, which is nothing but theta. Now next that is I am being asked is area of triangle DPC. So let's write that. Which formula will I use? Again the same formula. Okay, which is half into product of two sides, which is what? PD into PC. Okay, into sine of angle between the two sides, which is nothing but theta. Because this is the only formula that I can use here. Okay, I cannot use half into base into height or any other formula. So what will happen if I take a ratio? Half of sine theta gets cancelled. Okay, so what am I left with right now? I'm left with this PB upon PC. Now what is PB upon PC? BP upon PC, which is nothing but 2/3. So write it there. Then AP upon PD, which is PA upon PD, which is what? 3/5. So write it there. 3 gets cancelled, answer is 2/5, and that is my final answer. So I'll get the answer to this is 2/5. You just need to know which formula of area will you use in which situation. Okay, what are the things that have been given to you? Circumradius, in radius, all three sides, height, sine of angle between the two sides. That is what you will have to think. Which formula will you use in which situation to get to the right answer? Okay, now let's see one more application of area of triangle. Now this is a brain teaser. This is one of the difficult problem that will be solving in the entire geometry class. Okay, so let's see what is given to me. Two triangles ABC and a triangle in red, which is PQR. If you can say I had shaded this to be white. Okay, that is my triangle PQR. What else is given to me now? I am being asked what is the ratio of area of triangle PQR, which means the white part, upon area of triangle ABC. The ratio AR is to RB is given to me as 2:3. The value could be anything. Multiplied by 2, 4, 6. Multiplied by 3, 6, 9. I don't know the exact value. So let it multiply by x. So 1 becomes 2x, other becomes 3x. AQ is to QC, 1 is to 1. Multiply by y, y is to y. 2 is to 3, 2z is to 3z. I just get the value out of it. Now let one angle A be alpha, B be beta, and angle C be gamma. Why am I doing this? Because now I'll apply the formula of sine theta. Now let's see what am I doing with this. Area of triangle ARQ. Imagine triangle ARQ upon area of triangle ABC. I'm comparing the area of triangle ARQ with ABC. What is area of triangle ARQ? I'll apply the sine theta formula. Product of two sides into the sine of angle between the two sides. So I will do half into one side is 2x, other side is y, into sine of angle between the two is alpha. So sine of alpha. Take area of triangle ABC, half into 5x, right? If you can imagine, it's a big triangle. 5x into what? 2y, y plus y into sine alpha. Take a ratio, what will happen? I can just get there, everything gets cancelled, and I get the ratio at 1:5, which means the area of triangle ARQ is 1. It's just 1 as compared to the area of triangle ABC, which is 5. Okay, so area of triangle ABC. I'm comparing ARQ with ABC. What next will I do? I'll compare BRP with ABC. If you can see, I'm eliminating all this so that I will only get PQR in the end. So what is area of triangle BRP? There's nothing but half into product of two sides, 3x into 2z, right? That is extending only till 3x and 2z into the sine of angle between the two sides, which is nothing but beta. area of triangle ABC will be half into 3x plus 2x 5x into 2z plus 3z 5z into sine of beta. Everything gets cancelled, half of sine beta x x z z. What am I left with? 6 by 25, which means what? If I am saying the area of triangle ABC is 25, then the area of triangle BRP will be 6. Okay, I'll have to get the common denominator now, so that the area of triangle ABC is constant over everything. Now what is left? Which triangle will I eliminate more? QPC. Then only thing that will be left is PQR. Okay, I'll subtract it in the end. So let's see, area of triangle QPC will be what? Half into product of the two sides, so y into 3z into the sine of angle between the two sides, which is nothing but gamma. So sine of gamma upon half into, if I write ABC, that will be equal to y plus y, 2y into 3 plus 2 5z, okay, into again sine of gamma. Everything gets cancelled and in the end I get 3 by 10, which means if the area of triangle ABC is 10, then the area of triangle QCP will be equal to 3, comparing ABC with QCP. Now I need to get a constant number, one number which is there for ABC. So I'll subtract area of ABC from AQR, BRP and QPC, so that the only area that will be left is PQR, and that is what I want. That is what my question is asking, and that's why I did so many things. Okay, so I will compare the area of ABC. So let's take a common denominator. That could be LCM of 5, 10 and 25, 50. So to make this 50, multiply numerator and denominator by 2, so it becomes 12 by 50, which means BRP is 12, so I'll have ABC as 50. To get 50 in the first part, multiply numerator and denominator by 10 such that I get 10 by 50, which means BRP is 12, ARQ is 10, considering ABC is 50. Similarly, I'll say what? QCP is 15. That's it, subtract. ABC is 50, 50 minus 10, 12, 15. 10, 12, 15 is 37. 50 minus 37 is nothing but 13, and that will be the area of PQR. So area of PQR will be 13, considering area of ABC is 50, and that's how I get the answer to this question. Application, we see again types of triangles. We saw 30, 60, 90 triangle and its property application. We saw 45, 45, 90 triangle, its application. Now we see the most important triangle, which is an equilateral triangle. Okay, now let's see what is an equilateral triangle. All three sides are equal, AAA, and all three angles are also equal, which is equal to 60 degrees. Now what is it like? We'll study about equilateral triangle. Let's draw an altitude here. Altitude is nothing but height, altitude, median, perpendicular, bisector. Everything is same in an equilateral triangle. Okay, so I talk about altitude or a median or a perpendicular, bisector, all of them are same in an equilateral triangle, and that is what makes this triangle very special. So if I am saying it's a median, what will it do? It will divide the opposite side, A into A by 2, A by 2. If I am drawing a perpendicular, I can say it is forming what now? 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, 90. So side opposite to hypotenuse is A, side opposite to 30, I know it's A by 2. What will be side opposite to 60? Root 3 multiplied by the side opposite to 30. Root 3 A by 2. So I know first thing to derive is height of an equilateral triangle is root 3 A by 2. That is height. Okay. Area is what? Half into base into height. What is my base here? A. What is my height here? Root 3 by 2 into A. Okay, so what is an area of an equilateral triangle that we can derive? Root 3 by 4 into A square. So remember this formula, root 3 by 4 into A square. Now let's draw a circumcircle. Okay, outside touching the three vertices. What will be the circumradius? Okay, what will be the radius of this circle? Now remember this, will derive this. Median always divides in the ratio of 2:1. Okay, median is always divided in the ratio of 2:1, where 2 is always from the vertex and 1 is from the bottom. Okay, so that's how median is always divided in the ratio of 2:1, and this point is something called as circumcenter. Okay, which is an intersection of median. So what can I say? This is nothing but 2/3 of the height. 2/3 of height is nothing but root 3 by 2 into A. So circumradius comes out to be A by root 3. Remember that. Similarly, I'll draw an in radius. In radius means I'll draw an in circle inside the equilateral triangle. This is nothing but 1/3 of the height. Height is square root of 3 by 2 into A, and 1/3 of that will be nothing but A by 2 root 3. Now remember, mug up this formula. Circumradius A upon 2 root 3, in radius circumradius A by root 3, in radius A upon 2 root 3. Remember all this formula about this. Obviously your in radius is smaller, that's why divided by 2, okay, and circumradius is larger, so a by root 3. That's what you have to remember about equilateral triangle. Now let's apply everything that we have learned in this equilateral triangle. Okay, what can we apply it here? So one equilateral triangle is given. The three sides of the equilateral triangle are 10, 10, 10. Okay, and I'm being asked what is the sum of area of all such equilateral triangle. Inside that there is an in circle, then there is a triangle, then there is an in circle to that, then there is a triangle, and so on. So I'll say the area of outer equilateral triangle is square root of 3 by 4 into a square, which is side square. Now the circle that is being drawn inside this equilateral triangle is nothing but an in circle, and what I am pointing it right now is nothing but its in radius. And we have just studied what is the formula of in radius of an equilateral triangle. We know that it is what? a upon 2 root 3. A is nothing but side, so side here is 10. So I'll write 10 upon 2 root 3. 5 upon root 3 is the in radius of the circle, okay, of triangle ABC. So for triangle ABC, this is an in circle which has an in radius of 5 by root 3, but this is an circumcircle as well for the triangle PQR. Just see, it's an in circle for triangle ABC, yes, but it's in circumcircle for triangle PQR. Okay, it's in circumcircle. So if it's in circumcircle, what will it have? It will have a circumradius. So what is an in radius for ABC is an circumradius for PQR. You can imagine, just look at the figure closely. Okay, this will be a circumradius for PQR. Okay, and for circumradius for PQR, but it's an in radius for ABC. Okay, remember that. What is the formula for circumradius? Is nothing but a upon root 3, where a is the side of an equilateral triangle. So what is the side of an equilateral triangle PQR? Let it be B. I call it to be B. Then I'll find out what is B. If it is B, then it will be B upon root 3, correct? That will be the circumradius of PQR. Circumradius for PQR is an in radius of ABC we have derived, and that is nothing but equal to 5 upon root 3. So what will I write? This B upon root 3 will be equal to what? 5 upon root 3. In radius is equal to circumradius. Root 3 gets cancelled, and I get my B to be as 5, which means the side of the equilateral triangle PQR is nothing but 5. Then if I just go in similar way, it will become half of that, 2.5, the side of an equilateral triangle which is inside PQR, and then so on. It will just go on, the side will become half and half till it goes to infinity. So what is the area of all such equilateral triangle? First 10 square, yes, then it will be 5 square, yes, then it will be 2.5 square, and so on till infinity, right? Square root of 3 by 4 into side square, and so on for all this triangle, because the triangle will keep on going. This will form a geometric progression to infinity. If you have seen GP to infinity, this is of this type: 40, 20, 10, 5 will keep on reducing. So if I add all of them, what will be sum of the terms? I am saying the first term is 40, and the common ratio, that is second term upon first term, is half. So the sum is given as a upon 1 minus r. In this case example, I will write it as a, which is 40 upon 1 minus r. It's nothing but half, so the sum comes out to be 80. Okay, this is what we have studied in progressions. Now let's apply this GP infinite series formula to the same problem. So what will I do? I'll take out square root of 3 by 4 into 100 outside. So what am I left with? 1 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 the whole square plus so on till infinity. Why did I do in this way? Because I wanted my first term to be 1. When my first term is 1, it is easier for me to solve this problem. The calculation becomes easier, and that's why I took the whole of square root of 3 by 4 into 100 outside. Now if this is outside, this is nothing but GP, where the first term is nothing but 1, and the common ratio second term upon first term is 1 by 4. Sum of infinite to this GP is a, 1 upon 1 minus r, 1 minus 1 by 4. So it comes out to be what? 1 upon, if you can write this, 1 minus 1 by 4 is nothing but 3 by 4. It reverses and it becomes 4 by 3. 4 gets cancelled. The answer for this comes out to be 100 upon root 3, and that is your final answer. Sum of area of all this equilateral triangle is 100 upon root 3. That's an application of equilateral triangle. Let's apply all that we have learned to one last problem that we can see it on this part of triangle. So what is being said? Triangle ABC is right angled at B. Okay, AC is 12, angle ACB is 30. O is the in center. Okay, I'll have to draw an in circle for that. Then the distance OB. So let's draw everything. I need to draw a right angle triangle ABC. So first I draw that. It is angled right at B. So B is 90. That's how I draw this. Then what? AC is 12. Okay, so the hypotenuse AC is 12. I'll write it there. Then given angle ACB is 30. So I'll make ACB as 30. That is also clear. In center. O is an in center. So first I'll draw an in circle for that. O will be the in center. I will have an in radius. Obviously, if I have an in circle, I'll draw an in radius for that. So I'll put an in radius in this way. If you know by tangent perpendicularity, this will become 90. Okay, as we have learned, a line from the center to the tangent is always perpendicular. So I know this is 90. I need to find out OB. Yes, this red is something that I'm supposed to find out. Find the distance OB. Okay, and that is my concern right now. So how will I start? What is given to me? One angle is 90, other is 30. The next has to be 60. So I can apply 30, 60, 90. Hypotenuse is given. Side opposite to 30 is half. So it becomes 6. Side opposite to 60 multiplied by root 3. So this becomes 6 root 3. So I know what is BC right now. Now what do I need? I need OB. Okay, OB I can get if I can get in radius. Okay, if I can get an in radius, I can apply 45, 45, 90 because I know there is a square that is being forming there. So all I need to do is get an in radius. Where can I get an in radius? In the formula of area. We have learned area is equals to R into S. Okay, so I need to get it by this. But one more formula for area is half into base into height. So base is 6 root 3 into height is nothing but 6. So this comes out to be 36 root 3 divided by 2 is nothing but 18 root 3. Okay, that is now the area of this triangle. Area of triangle ABC is 18 root 3. But the same area of triangle ABC could be written by one more formula. We had seen 5 formula. For in radius is R into S. So 18 root 3 is equals to R into S. But S we know is nothing but semi perimeter. So perimeter you will write all the sides 12 plus 6 root 3. Semi perimeter divided by 2. 18 plus 6 root 3 divided by 2 is nothing but 9 plus 3 root 3. So I have this 18 root 3 is equals to R into 9 plus 3 root 3. Okay, so my in radius R comes out to be what then? 18 root 3 upon 9 plus 3 root 3. Okay, take out 3 out of this. So what can I do right now? 18 3, I'll take out 3 out of this. So what am I left with? 6 root 3 upon 3 plus root 3. Again I think I can simplify this because there is a root 3 and 3 there. So what will I do? I'll take out root 3 common from the denominator. Okay, what am I left with? Root 3 plus 1. Now root 3 gets cancelled. What am I left with? 6 upon 1 plus root 3. That's it. That is my in radius for this triangle ABC. Now by tangent perpendicularity, I told you at the start this 2 will be 90. We had done such sum earlier. So this will also be 90 because the 3 angles are 90. The 2 sides, angle between them is 90 and they are equal. It will form a square. Square as an angle bisector. So the angle will be 45. It forms in 45, 45, 90. For which I know the 2 sides, which is R. So hypotenuse will be equal to what? R root 2. Okay, we have done one of such sum earlier. So hypotenuse will be equal to R root 2. Okay, just multiply this by this. That's it. So I have OB is equals to R root 2 and OB is equals to 6 upon 1 plus root 3 into 2, and that is my OB now. Okay, so I hope you got good concepts with respect to learning of triangles. Okay, I'll see you in the next class for quadrilateral and polygons.